Your nightmare is here.
Hey guys, it's Mini TV coming back at you once again with another video, and today we're doing a Position 5 support replay of one of my games. Now, as you know, Dota 2 has reset the MMR, and so all the calibration games are going up as we speak this week. Now, because of that, I had the ability and the opportunity to play with some of the best players in Europe this week, so I thought, why not put it into a video and see what we can learn from not only my play, but some of the other plays we saw throughout this game as well. I mean, as you sort of see here, I was playing against some like top pro players, some on their Smurfs, like top 38 support. I had a top 100 carry in my lane, so I learned a lot about this game, and hopefully you will too in this video, guys. So without further ado, let's get to it. So guys, this is the game being played. To be honest, I didn't expect to be immediately sort of chucked into the very, very high MMR bracket. Like, I was playing alongside another UK faithful, Symmetrical. I think he's like 7 or 8k MMR, and I actually was laning with him, funny enough. And I haven't actually played Dota in the last like month or so, so this is the first game back, so I was pretty rusty. So please, like, withhold all the CS lols and everything else. I did and made a lot of mistakes actually this game, but it was fun. I learned from it and had a good time. So to start off with, we ended up just in terms of the draft. I knew I was playing because of Position 5 before I went into the game. So because of that, I kind of had in the mindset that I was willing to pick first or also pick second. I didn't know exactly what hero I wanted to play because I hadn't played really for a while. Because I was a little bit rusty. But I think I ended up saying to my team, I was like, look, guys, like I haven't played in a while. What supports are good? And sort of I suggested a few. And also because obviously, Night Stalker at the moment has been like a massive kind of domination in this patch. He ended up first picking, and then I ended up picking Bane second because, put simply, like, obviously I was playing with Symmetrical. Like, this guy was like really, really high MMR, and he was like, oh my god, we have another UK player as well, Monka S. And so, put simply, like, in games in like a really high MMR bracket, playing a hero like Bane, who is a complete lane dominator, is really, really important. Like, so you're playing with, like, these 8k players or 7 or 8k players, whatever. You give them a good lane, give them a good start, and they will carry the game for you. Bane's not really a hero that I particularly like because he doesn't have any lane clear or wave clear, but he is fantastic in the early game in the lane situations because no one can really man up against him. So and that was the reason why I ended up picking Bane. Give the Void a good start, and we have a good chance to win this game. So to start off with, obviously I bought 3 sets of tangos, 2 wards, a sentry, and then I only had a mango left. Obviously gave the Leshrac 2 tangos and gave him a ward as well. Usual support stuff. Now, 7 tangos. I'm sorry, before that as well. I put a ward down here just because, like, look, we're playing against a Marana and Sanking. They have great burst potential. So having any kind of vision into the sort of the trees, if they try and sort of set up with a Sanking stun into Marana arrow, is really important. Didn't expect the sentry to be there. Ends up getting de-warded immediately, but still, I think it's the right play. We wanted to get vision just from the side trees. As for my starting items, really, just all regen based basically in wards, and obviously I needed to have a sentry because I was playing against Sanking. I knew he'd eventually have Sandstorm. This ward gets immediately de-warded, but we, what can you do? As for signs, like I said, like all region based, 9 tangos and a mango as well, and then just wards just to help me as much as I can in the lane. I don't want to be running back to base, waste a complete amount of time. Leshrac comes over for the bounty, so we can definitely secure 1 rune. Marana's going to throw the arrow. I'm going to tank it, so Void can pick up the bounty, which he does. So that's just that. A Marana arrow. That's probably the one and only one where I actually purposely tank it. The rest are probably just me misplaying and getting hit by. But that one was on purpose, to be fair. We knew the sentry was there, so I ended up putting it just there, just because of the fact that we know it's there. We spotted that they already had one, so because of that, I instantly buy another one on the courier. But I've got to let Leshrac take it first. So, just before we get in talking about the laning stage. Your job as a Position 5, if not anything else, your job as a position 5, just the most important thing is to allow this player right here to get as much CS as possible. Doesn't matter about anything else at the moment. Just for the first laning stage, how can I get this man, this Faceless Void, the most amount of CS? Now, for me as a Bane, best way to do that is to trade really with the Mirana, or really anyone in this vicinity here. For some reason I can't kind of cursor, but just in that kind of this square here. Because if it's Sanking versus Void, the first few levels, Void will actually be able to deal with him because he has higher base damage than Sanking. Sanking's got 50, Void has 60. So as long as I keep the Mirana out of touch and not harassing the Void, he can get CS as much as possible. So that's my plan is, just sort of try and right click as much as possible. I don't want to be in here like dealing with either the Sandstorm or with messing up the Void's last hits. He's a good enough player to get the last hits whenever he wants them, even though he missed one there. Kappa Pride. So I'm just sort of staying on the right side. I can't do much about Sanking right now anyway because of the fact that I don't have a sentry yet from the courier. And also for the fact that I don't want to be taking too much damage. So I'll stay on the left side, just trading with the Mirana whenever possible. I know I can trade better than him, even though he does have a Basilius, because of the fact that I have Brain Sap. Obviously, when both of them come over, I can't trade, so I run back, but making sure I'm hitting every time I run back. All the while, Void is top CS because of this amazing Bane play right now. But I know I'm being sarcastic, but that's literally all I can do right now. Just sort of using my Brain Sap, making sure really I should have blocked that or did something to stop that pull there. That's really bad by me, which again is annoying that my ward was de-warded just here, because if it wasn't I would have been able to see that. Instead I run back to get the courier, but really I should have stopped that pull. That's why it's important to have vision all times in the pull camp, because doing this it will eventually mean that Void gets less CS, which is not good, because Sang is going to push the lane in. And then when the lane's pushed in, these creeps are going to die to the neutrals. And that's less CS for my Void, which is not what we wanted, obviously. I buy a sentry here, and I said, look, do you want me to put it here or here? He just says, look, we can just kill him or whatever, so just just mess with him. So he gets a nice bash. We end up trying to kill him here. I think he jukes us pretty hard. Oh yeah, he goes down here. I probably could have stopped that TP if I was quicker, but I was a bit of a papaya. Like I said, I'm rusty, first game of the day. So we lose 2 creeps here, which is a bit of annoying. That's why Void is actually 7 CS down instead of, say, 9. So look, we're just trying to do as much as we can, really, like just trying to harass a little bit. Void has got a lot of CS, obviously. I put the sentry down here, which is probably a mistake, really, because of the fact that the lane's probably not going to be here, but I was getting a bit antsy and thought maybe we could kill him, so I put a sentry down straight away. I go and pull because the lane's really pushed up. Void's not going to die from level 2. Mirana is Sanking, and he's got Time Walk anyway, so he's fine. I couldn't end up getting the pull at 215, and I told him that, and I said, look, I'm going to try and get it at 245 instead. I'm running around here doing absolutely nothing for the first 15 minutes because I'm rusty. But making sure that I want to make sure I get the pull off at 245 while Void is crushing the Sanking. So me pulling the wave back here does 2 things. First of all, it gets the lane back where we want it. It's a bit more safe position. They don't have the ability to chase if the creep wave's here instead of up here. So because of that, that's a good thing. Second of all as well, I don't like, he doesn't, as I said before, I want to get this Void the most amount of CS and kind of just farm as much as possible. Now he can CS for the most part here for a little bit, whether I'm there or not, and so me doing this means that he has more levels as well. Like he's level 3 or I'm level 2, and I don't want to be stealing his XP. So I end up pulling. I think I don't know 1 or 2 creeps as well, and the wave obviously gets back under the tower. And so now he can get all this CS under tower, kind of uncontested. I'm trying to get the pull off here, but I mistime it again because I'm a Papega, and don't end up pulling it. But I end up denying these creeps here. So I end up denying 2 creeps, which is the same amount as they denied as well. I really don't want this to happen, really. But luckily they kind of misplayed and only pulled 1. It could have been a lot worse. I think I do ping it out. Like I ping out here, but luckily it's only 1 and it's not actually that bad. Could have been worse. Could have been better. Anyway, in the other ways, so I mentioned a little bit about how I wanted to make sure Void has the best game and best start. Right now, he has actually an okay start, really. Not top CS, but he has 9 denies over the Lycan. And this is the point where Leshrac, I think, is sort of suffering a little bit in the mid lane, because he's like, oh, look, Ember has 2 bottle charges, I only have 1 or none. Please make sure that you protect bottom room for me. So I end up going straight to the bottom room, and Void's like, yo, we can actually kill this Sanking. But I try and stop this pull again, and at the same time trying to make sure that I get this rune for the Leshrac. End up pinging it, while Void basically ends up solo killing this Sanking, because, you know, that guy's a beast. So get some nice procs off. So I end up holding this illusion rune for the Leshrac. I know the Morana's going to end up coming eventually, so I end up just waiting to sleep in the meantime. Dodge the arrow, that'd be the only one I dodge, and as I said before, Void ends up killing this Sanking by himself, because, like, it's a small thing. Like, I could have went down bottom, and we could have maybe secured the kill on the Sanking, but instead, like, whilst Morana was there, so it would have been like me and Void versus Sanking and Morana, like if we both went for it right then. But because I ended up going and getting the rune, this draws the Morana away, which then allows Void to 1v1 the Sanking, which is probably Void versus Sanking 1v1, Void will win. But if it's me and Void versus Morana and Sanking, then perhaps actually they're probably in favour because of the double stun commitment. So because I sort of draw Morana away, Void is then able to 1v1 and kill the Sanking, which is a small thing, but it ends up making a difference. So now we're actually kind of doing very well in this lane. 20 and 10 versus 11 and 1, so like this Void is obviously like crushing. And again, I'm still boxing at the Morana as well. Just need to be careful of what could happen. So Void, yeah, is like doing well. They buy another sentry. My sentry's still up here, kind of useless, and I sort of say, look, I need to... Oh no, I did put one back. I bought another one, which is good. And we end up killing the Sanking again, actually, because yeah, probably Misplay. He didn't realise that this sentry was still here from the beginning. So he ends up coming, and Morana obviously had no HP mana because I ended up trading with him well. So after those 2 kills, this lane is basically won in the first 5 minutes because of the hero I am. Like if I was a weaker support hero, Void wouldn't be getting the same amount of CS, and we'd be struggling a lot more. So now this lane is basically won. Void is close to level 6, and when he gets level 6, they're going to struggle to put anyone down here in the bottom lane because of the fact that if they do, they're probably just going to die. We're on a 2B's top, and now this indicates to me, anyway, that Void can basically solo down here 1v1. And I need to do my jobs now. So 5 minutes is where it gets a bit different. So like the first 5 minutes is all about bottom lane. Don't care about whatever really happens. I just want to make sure that Void has a good game, and the rest will be easy, basically. However, when it gets to like 5 minutes, first night time, so ganks are more often to occur, and also wards are starting to run out. If we remember, I gave the ward to Leshrac to start with, and now it's already run out because we planted it already. So I immediately think, look, okay, I need to redo some warding missions, and I can't zoom in anymore because no reason, and I'm going to pause it and fix that. There we go. I fixed the scroll, zoom in and out, and luckily I remembered as well to swap the minimap before a lot of the minimap warding was starting to be important. Anyway, as I was going back to talking about, so first 5 minutes, need to go ahead and kind of replenish the wards that I've already finished, basically. Also bought my boots as well, and there's some courier delivering me some wards as well. As I've said before, Void can now solo 1v1 as Morana has shown top, so because Leshrac's also gone top, I want to try and secure as much XP mid that's being kind of like wasted if no one's sitting there. So Leshrac ran top, so I don't want Ember to either A, get the tower because there's a catapult push, or B, just sort of someone on my team to miss out on all this experience. So I go ahead and put myself in the mid lane, which is the right play to make, and so I can sort of get myself to level 4 without sort of hurting Void's experience too much. I do want to go rotate down bot when I can though, because Void obviously has chrono, so whenever Leshrac returns mid, I do want to go bot because of the fact that we can kill a bot very easily because of obviously chrono from the Void. So Leshrac comes over here, comes back, I end up giving him a tango because he's a little bit low. He wants to go on this Ember, but he has haste, so I'm like, there's no point me going. Leshrac is currently losing, as you can see, level 5 versus level 7, so this Ember is crushing this Leshrac, but hopefully this Void is going to be the difference between winning and losing, basically. I try and get a lane ward down before we end up going, so then we can sort of see a potential go or any TPs coming in from the Ember. So we end up seeing the Mirana by himself, so we end up trying to go on her before anything else. Void goes in. I think he does chrono. Yeah, he does chrono. I try and give him the last hit, and he does, obviously. Ember TPs, thanks to this ward, we see him as well. And obviously what I'm going to do is just try to run him away and try and delay as much as possible. This is really important because like things like this, they take actually a while to kill me, because I end up getting my brain sub off here, as well as getting the shrine as well, and I end up sleeping one of them as well. This gives a free lane to Void, this gives free experience and lane for Leshrac as well. Instead of he's running top, but he probably should be sort of pressuring mid. They end up killing me, but they take like 10-15 seconds extra than if they kill me straight here. So delaying as much as possible is a really good thing. So right now, Voids use Chrono. There's no point me going down bot. So I'm dead right now. So my only two plays really is to rotate mid to sap experience, or to go play around top. And obviously I'm not level 6 yet, so ideally I'd like to get my levels. End up going mid for that same reason. I want to get level 6 as quick as possible to actually be useful. And not only that, but I don't want to say bot really because of the fact that he doesn't have Chrono. However, one thing that I kind of completely forgot about, which is pretty bad, is I TP'd mid already. I should have run mid, because of the fact that if they go on this Void right now, I'm probably the only person that can really remotely TP and try and help him. The rest are either busy in their own lanes trying to pressure this Lycan, for example, or Leshrac's going to try and protect his tower, so he can't really TP either, seeing as that he is behind this Ember by 2 levels still. So, me to be in mid, it got me maybe one mob of experience, which is not really worth it. I should have kept my TP in just in the case, or in the fact that maybe they might have gone on the Void and no one will be able to help him. So just be careful whenever you die. Just be careful that you don't end up quickly just TPing to any random lane. Just think about what you're doing, and that will help. So look, I'm like, look, okay, I was mid, but we're not really going to set up this Ember because it's an Ember, so we can't really kill him, so there's no point really trying to even go for him. So the only thing else I can do really is go top, because there's no point me being down bot for Void. I end up getting a little stack off here, just helping out wherever I can. Ideally, I would have liked to be in that engagement 10 seconds ago. Instead, I was like TPing mid and not really there for the go, which was a bit of a shame. And we're getting a ward down, like, whenever you rotate anyway, always try and look for the abilities where you can place wards, and always try and have wards on you. So now I'm probably in the right lane where I need to be. I don't need to be bot, and Leshrac doesn't really need me mid to defend his tower. Because if there was going to be a defense and mid tower, it would be like a team objective. It wouldn't just be from me, because I'm not strong enough. I'm not level 6 yet. Misplay here from me, again, really rusty. I kind of forget that I have a leader on my team. I should just sleep, and we end up, obviously if I just sleep him here, then sleep in the stun and he dies. Instead I kind of panic, Lena misses the stun, and we don't kill the Lycan. Really close to letting him kill, so that's a big misplay from me actually, and it shows just kind of how rusty I am. But I was playing in the right lane, and that's where I really should have been. I just misplayed and didn't click my abilities correctly, and it showed. In the meantime, there's things happening over in the mid lane, so I TP mid, just trying to be useful wherever I can. Ember picks up haste. Void is most definitely dead, but we end up killing the Mirana. I just end up sleeping the Ember and just trying to get out and run. Yeah, because we're not fighting that. I end up dying because he has haste and arcane rune, and but we end up trading here. I sort of man up here, just right click trying to get any kill, and he does end up dying to tower. So kind of a not bad trade for the most part. And as a support, you know, your life is pretty meaningless really. Bottom net worth, by the way, PogChamp. So again, this time I kind of learnt my lesson. Don't really, even though I don't have TP, but I learnt my lesson. However, what I didn't learn is my ultimate level 6, so pretty smart play. Obviously, guys, you know, when you get level 6 as a support, pretty important that you you spec your ultimate instead of specking W 3 points in W, 3 points in E. But you know, misclick. hopefully my team don't recognise that I made a misplay. But quick thing as well, like one thing I always see from like low MMR players, particularly in the support role, is that they're like so greedy. They're like, oh guys, I got to finish my like, my Lotus Orb. I got to finish my like, my Arcane Boots, or I've got to finish, my Yules or my Force Staff, or anything like that. When you're position 5, like, don't have expectations to have any items. Like, that's just the main thing. Like, if you can buy all the wards, like both wards, sentries, as well as smokes, like everything like that, like, and you still have money to spare, then you can think about using it to buy other items. But in the most part, vision is all you are going to buy, and if you have boots, then consider yourself a luxury. Because vision, particularly in these high MMR games, and even in low MMR games, man, will win you games more so than that one extra item. Obviously, if you can get that extra item, then yeah, it will help, but do not skimp out on vision to buy an item. Never. Never, never, never. So, level 6 here. If I was level 6, I could go and ulti this guy because we have vision of a sentry. Instead, I dust him, could not get sleep off until he's over there and he's safe. So, misspecking cost lives, and in the meantime Night Stalker dies mid and we end up losing the tower as well. So that's kind of like a bit of a misplay from the whole kind of team in some ways, because like as we all know, mid tower is the most important tower in the game because it opens up the rest of the map, both top and bot, lots of different ganking spots, and we end up saying top here for no reason really. We have dust, like we have sentries, and we don't go here on the sanking really. So again, just kind of an outplay in some ways, but just kind of like a mismatch of our resources in different parts of the lane. If we were like all mid, we could defend a mid tower and it would have been a lot better. But in the meantime, I end up like top and mid, and we end up losing the laner as well. So not great really. But this does mean I'm going to get level 7, and this time I am going to spend my ultimate. So there's good things still to come. I can actually do things now when I have my ultimate. There we go, and I spec'd it correctly. So again, like, look at my quick buy. This is like wards. Most important thing. At this part of the game, particularly now, like as a Bane, like some supports, obviously you're going to play differently. Like some supports, you want to be pushing out the waves, you want to be doing different things. But when you're like a hero like a Bane, where a lot of your focus is either on laning stage or using your grip, like you need to be in the positions where you can be useful and use it with your teammates as well. Like, yes, someone needs to be pushing out mid or someone needs to be defending bot, but you're not the hero to do that. If you were a different position 5, maybe if I was a Kotl or a Winter Wyvern, then yeah, sure. But I'm a Bane, like, and so I've got to be using my Fiend's Grip whenever it's off cooldown with my allies to get those kills. So I'm playing with my team, and that's where you need to be. Again, we just go, like, in this game as well, like, a lot of things I'm looking for really is, in the team fights, is obviously getting a good Fiend's Grip off in like a full duration, making sure I'm not getting stunned by the Mirana or the Sanking, or even getting stopped by the Kotl ultimate as well. But also I want to make sure that either I can set up the Nightmare stuns with either the Leshrac or Lina, which are both great setups for them. But also I can make some plays as well, where if, say, there's a Mirana arrow coming and my teammate is stunned, I can disjoint that stun mechanic with the Nightmare, because obviously it provides invulnerability for a second. So there's a few things, and it's really important really, as a support, even more so than a core, although it's still important for a core, that before a team fight happens, you know exactly what you can do in a team fight and what you should be doing and what you should be thinking of. So in this position, I should be thinking, right, who do I want to grip? Who do I want to like Nightmare? Who do I want to do before I go into those scenarios? Because like in a big fray, in a big team fight, it's hard to know just from the split second, okay, I should be doing this. But if you have like the preparation, thinking, right, okay, I want to do this on this person, yada yada yada, it helps, mentally thinking about it. So again, Fiend's Grip closing like nearly off of cooldown. So I'm trying to be in a somewhat position that I can help, because like by yourself as a support, the only things you should really be doing by yourself is either warding, and sometimes that's not always the case, sometimes you want to be with a teammate, or stacking. Else times you want to be in positions to either help your teammates or to protect your teammates. And if you're not doing one of those things, then you're not playing support correctly. Obviously there's like some heroes that, well, yes, you can push lanes, but again, as I've said before, I'm a Bane, I don't have any wave clear, it's all single target. Yes, I can kind of right click creeps sometimes when there's downtime, which I like for example here. But sometimes, like if I'm in the middle of this and something else is more important, like say perhaps giving that farm to my carry, or placing a ward, or setting up for a smoke. These things, for example, are more important than me just getting last hits, because, as I said before, as a position 5 in a high kind of tier game, expect yourself to have, you know, barely any CS at all. If we just look at, as we see, Keeper of the Light ending up nearly dying there, which kind of shows another thing which is really important, that when you're a support player, always trying to be on the lookout of where the enemy support is, because look, I saw the Kotl was, you know, in this position, and what I do, end up placing a sentry, because why would he be there anywhere else? End up getting a D ward and a sentry as well, something really, really big, because now we end up smoking, and we ended up going for a team fight. Now this team fight actually doesn't work out too well for us, but it's like, those are the things, like, you as the support with your vision sets up a lot of things. Not the best grip really, but I just wanted to try to grip him before he gets his ball of light, but in the end he ends up dying, we don't kill him in time. But, you know, again, did my job, wasn't great, but, you know, Void, you like, as a Void, you don't want to go in first and start off with your Chronosphere, because you want to get multiple Chronospheres, and in this kind of tier game, you're not really going to get that off unless someone else starts the initiation. And in this case, I went for it, tried to kill the Kotl before he got armor off, couldn't kill him, but, you know, it's probably the right play nonetheless. Perhaps if it was a sleep into a stun, perhaps would have been better, but regardless, we didn't do that, and that's what happened. But yeah, just going back to the point, like, as a position 5, like, you predict and start a lot of the fights off with your vision. We end up sort of deciding to stay here and fight here, which probably wasn't the best decision. We don't have Chrono. I'm not there without armor either. We end up killing the Lycan, but it's not the greatest trade, I think, in the end. We end up... I end up sleeping the thing. I probably, like, if I was quicker about this, I could have stopped the Nightmare swap, but instead I was trying to kill this Ember, which he gets away. Like, if I stopped, if you see right in the corner here, this Night Stalker's kind of doing, you know, I misplay and so does the Night Stalker in just that brief team fight there. He obviously shouldn't be focusing on a target that's sort of slept, because he's waiting around not doing much, and as a result the Leshrac is like saying, what are you doing, Night Stalker, you should be fighting targets that aren't slept. But at the same time it's my bad, because obviously if I take off that sleep then he can kill the Kotl and then go on to the next target. So we both misplay that in that part of the fight, and as a result, look, we end up getting wiped. So not the greatest thing. So, but it happens, you know. So just fast forward here a little bit. As I said before, like, a lot of the time and a lot of the sort of the plays in the game all kind of come down to you and in your vision. Just going back to here, they ended up sort of trying to take a tier 2 tower, and we end up trying to fight again without the Leshrac, which is not the greatest decision. And as a result, Chrono used and instantly immediately ported out, and I die, Lena dies, and overall a terrible fight, all because we fought without the Leshrac. You know, misplays happen in 7 and 8K MMR games as well, man. What can I say? Like, but it's important to kind of like in this game we didn't really have like a quote-unquote leader saying do this, do that, and sometimes being the position 5, you're in the best position to do that, because you're the one focused mostly on the wards and other things, whatever. And as I said before, if you're the support player, a lot of the plays of your team will be dictated on where the vision is, and obviously you're the one placing the vision, so you should be the one almost dictating the plays and stuff. But at the end of the game, Leshrac does again, which is kind of the story of this most game really. This Leshrac ends up dying a lot. I was gonna say, yeah, normally, like, obviously the sport does dictate the sort of the plays and the sort of the pace of the game, but this is my first game back in a month, and I wasn't really comfortable making plays, because I was probably the worst player on this team. So, you know, I just let it play out. But just keep in mind that sometimes it's good to have a direction. So this is the point where, like, this is probably the hardest stage of the game right now, because if you look on the draft, like, we have kind of a more late style of kind of game. We have definitely a more late style of carry. We have Void versus their Lycan, who Lycan obviously wants to push, kind of get Roshan, take towers, yada yada yada. So this, in terms of like the mindset of me right now, is okay. How do we prolong this game? And this should be the mindset of my team as well. How do we prolong this game? and placing defensive wards. Obviously, we had no vision on this side of the map, and this is the side of the map that is, commonly referred to as the, the dead lane. Normally, the opposite side of the team will end up kind of controlling this map. So I want to delay the game. So I placed defensive vision, but also we need to make kills and make plays happen so that the game gets elongated. So I say, look, I'm coming top. I have grip. If someone shows, we can maybe kill. Obviously, we're spotted out by this ward. I realised that. End up placing a sentry. End up get the ward, so that's pretty good. But obviously now the whole dire team have rotated, and we don't want to fight really because we're not stronger than them. We need to kind of try and play late as much as possible. This ward goes undetected the whole time really, which probably was a bit bad by mine. You'll see a lot of the time where pro support players, in the meantime we get smoked and we end up dying here. Kind of a nice play from them actually. If we rewinded it, we would have seen that Lycan was by himself here, but we didn't expect the whole team smoke behind him. So me and Void end up walking over. Both get double stunned. We both die, and again it goes back to this ward which I was going to talk about. So you see a lot of pro position 5 players will place this sentry ward like to the side, like down here, and then either have some kind of vision to get up here or place a ward of themselves. If I had the sentry here, we would have seen this ward and it would have been fine. Instead I was a bit of a papega and put it on this high ground. But yeah, so things like that, like, people say I don't have much impact as position 5. Right there, if I played better, if I had the right correct sentry placement, I would have protected, 3 or 4 deaths from my team, would have perhaps stopped the Roche and would have put us in a lot better position. And this is why I'm making these videos, not necessarily like to say, oh look, I'm so good. I'm just saying that like it's things that I can learn from, but also that you can as well. Well, in this channel and this video series, I want to kind of get us learning together and not just me dictating and lecturing, etc., etc. So misplay from me, and this is why it's useful for me to actually watch these replays as well. So again, so I end up putting the ward down here. And so if I was going to put a ward down here, then the sentry could be here because it would still overlap, but I wouldn't need the vision on top of it, and then we would have spotted this ward. So again, this ward, man, like actually ends up killing the Night Stalker as well. Like, it's so huge, these things, And even after these kills, after these deaths, I'm thinking, look, we have a sentry here, like, how do they have vision here? Like, why are people still dying in these areas? And if I was, smarter or quicker on the ball, I would have realised, look, they have a ward here without it being dewarded, and it would have been stopped. In the end, they have Roshan, they've got Aegis, they're 8k up. Yet the mindset is still delay the game as much as possible. They're going high ground. Obviously, we have to defend, we have to fight, and we have to do our best job, really. Quite an aggressive move from the Mirana. I make quite a nice play there, obviously dodging the stun, and I end up surviving because of it. I get a nice well played from the Night Stalker, even though I played pretty trash this game, actually. Leshrak's pushing in bot probably is the right decision because of the fact that, look, I don't think we could fight them 5-on-5 even if Leshrak was here, but this way, force rotation out, and they don't even stay for the range racks, but they get the melee racks. This is the part of the game where actually, for the most part, a lot of the players were actually flaming this Leshrak, saying like, oh mate, you're like really bad. Ember's destroyed you mid, which in a way he kind of did actually, but the team morale is pretty low, and I talk about the team morale because like team morale is actually huge really, because look, we're 9k down, and spoiler, we actually wouldn't end up winning this game, but like I end up taking the blame. I'm like, guys, look, so I played really bad first game of the day. We end up catching them there, and the reason why we end up catching him is because we saw Sankey TP bot, which is pretty good for us. Moran ends up getting away, but we end up killing the Kotl, which is a nice nice reward. So yeah, just keep in mind that obviously other enemy TPs can dictate how you play on the map as well. Like they're all top here by themselves. Sankey TP's out, and then obviously we're 5 versus 4. It can end up going for the go. We end up travelling all the way over here to get the kill, but it's worth it in the end. So going back to team morale. So yeah, everyone's like flaming this Leshrak and saying like, oh, you're so bad, like, but sometimes as a position 5 player, and it just worked out this way, but let's say if I was playing like a fantastic game, and I was playing absolutely perfect, which obviously I'm not, Like, even just sort of taking the humble route and saying, look, guys, I've played really bad. The reason why we're losing this game is on me. I'm sorry. Like, let's just try and keep playing and go for it. Can end up working in our favour. Because I'm like, because I said in this game, like, you can't see the team chat, but I said, look, or on voice chat either. I was like, look, guys, like, it's on me. I haven't played very well. Sorry about that. Like, let's just try and play and win. And because of that, it puts like the team in like a better mindset. Instead of like pointing the finger saying like, oh, this guy's crap, this guy's crap, this guy's crap, and just like giving up, like just sort of saying, look, okay, sorry guys, it's on me actually. We can still win this, but just try and have a positive mindset. And that's what ends up happening. Like a lot of the time we were flaming, like we were getting negative, but now like we're getting a bit more positive and saying actually we can win this game. We just need to get lucky and keep on playing and delay this game, which obviously they don't want to do. Like, they're still trying to focus and finish this game as much as possible. Echo Saber on Lycan, by the way, first time I've seen that, but this guy's like ranked 100, so I'm not really gonna like complain. Really, like I'm not gonna say whether that's good or not. I don't play Lycan, but first time I saw that. So again, defending high ground is what we gotta do. This team fight, I'll just stop it there. I mentioned before about like in a team fight, who do I really want to be gripping? Again, it changes this time, but this time I want to be playing really far back because I have no items and I'm going to die instantly. If I can get a grip without it getting stopped, it doesn't matter really on who it is, as long as it's not probably the person with the Aegis or Ember because he has Aeon Disc, it's going to work out. Sanky blinks him and ends up getting silenced by the Night Stalker, and I end up getting a grip which lasts the whole duration, which is absolutely perfect. And by that time, I've already done my job. Yes, it gets cancelled, Sanking dies, but now we've instantly made it 5 versus 4. Void ends up killing the Kotl by himself. 5 versus 3, 5 versus 3, we end up killing the Mirana as well, and as a result we end up winning the team fight. So just like that, we were looking so bad. We were like 9-10k down, everyone was flaming, everyone was moaning. We have one good team fight and we defend the high ground, and instantly the morale's better, we think we can win this game, and the game immediately turns on its head. And that's how quick games like this can happen, you know. We end up trying to go for the Ember, but he's well too quick and we don't catch him. But now, look, so we had a good team fight. What's the immediate response after that? Kind of pushing out waves, and for me personally is to kind of clear our jungle of any wards, any kind of bad things that happen. There's a sentry up here, and unfortunately I don't use the courier to spot this, but I bought wards. I'm trying to clear our jungle, etc, etc, etc. And that's the plan. This is out of the first 28 minutes, the first time I have one wave by myself. And immediately I push the wave out and end up like kind of running away and retreating. So in the 28 minutes I've bought wards, obviously dust, smoke, and I've got a cloak. So I'm trying to build into a glimmer cape. And I think we end up catching this. Do I catch a sword? I end up sitting behind the left rate because of the fact that I know there's people on the loose, and we end up, I think, fighting here again. So just being in the right place at the right time. I mean, I end up dying because in most team fights, you're going to die instantly. I just try and be as useful as I can before feeding. I sleep something and it dies, but we kill Sanking, which is, in my opinion, is a good trade. I end up buying back, which is actually a really good thing. I mean, I don't actually end up... I think we do end up catching someone actually because of my buyback, but in scenarios like this, like, you're a position 5 with nothing really, with no net worth. Just if there's a team fight in that area, something that I've seen particularly OG and No-Tail do all the time is if you can buy back and it will help you get an extra kill, which in this case it does because I'm able to catch up to this Mirana and get an ultimate off. It's worth it every single time. So look, I traded my body for the Sanking and then I buy him back and we kill the Mirana. Totally worth. And now that 10k gold lead is now 1k. So just me being in the right position as well. I pushed out that wave, if you remember, a little bit, and then sort of came back. But I was still in the right position to protect my left strike in case something happened. I didn't know they were coming. Obviously, they had vision here. And I was just in the right place at the right time. And that's sometimes what the whole point of support is. End up realising that they had a ward there now, and I end up getting the D-ward. Even though I probably should have got it before. But again, so pretty good positions right now. Again, we still want to delay the game. It's still 30 minutes in. We're kind of fast forwarding it a little bit. Lena ends up dying because he's by himself. And again, we're back on the back foot, really. I die. I'm going to go back a little bit more actually than that because I die in a really bad position. So yeah, Lena dies up here. And, you know, she's probably pushing a bit too far out. Try and help. And it's this goddamn ward, man. Like, I got done by this ward so much. But then again, like, this support was, like, ranked 25 when he was saying. Yes, like, Astral. He's like rank 38, so I mean, the guy's better than me, what can I say? But I got done by this wall a lot of times, man. Something I don't pick up. So I'm like kind of trying in the area, like sort of seeing, okay, like I know they have vision around here somewhere, and I'm like the 1 second I'm split away from my team, instantly dead like that. And the problem is that I don't have buyback. So yes, the buyback was good, and the worst thing actually is that Void goes in on this kill. And I actually say, like, guys, just let me die, which, as a position 5, if I die here, it doesn't matter, like, but it's the problem when they go in and they jump. Void dies, I think. Would have been a nice actually stun onto the Embo if it hit him, but he ends up dying, and to be honest, that was my fault, really. Like, I ended up dying. Yes, they could have let me die, but I kind of baited my team into fighting. As a result, Void dies, and it's looking pretty rough. But I don't think they actually, because we've pushed that mid pretty effectively, and Leshrak's putting in bot, the only lane they can really go for, I think, is mid. But I don't think they end up pushing this. I don't think, if I remember correctly, they're pinging it, saying, "Look, guys, like." Oh, that's it. Yeah, I remember this bit. So, like, half of them try and kill this Leshrak, and half of them try and push this tower. And as a result, because their resources are kind of split, they end up getting neither, I think. Oh no, Leshrak does die actually, but he takes ages. And in the result, like, that's probably the best situation that could have happened, because if they all went mid, they would have probably got Rax, seeing as that Void was dead, but they kind of went half and half. Leshrak survives for a long time, nearly gets out with a kind of a nice little juke TP, but doesn't. But we kind of end up protecting our Rax, seeing as that Leshrak has buyback, and Void is now up in 20 seconds, so kind of a good fight considering. But again, it kind of goes all back to me, like, if A, this ward wasn't here, and if 2, my positioning wasn't that bad, because I was like out from I knew they were in this vision somewhere, they were around here somewhere, but I just didn't know where. Like, if I wasn't there, then we wouldn't have died. So right now we're just trying to sit on the high ground, waiting for them to kind of push, and waiting for our guys to come back, really. Not much really to say about that. So yeah, just always be careful with your positioning, like wherever you go, and you know, and it will definitely help. So again, Leshrak's still dead, trying to wait for his he doesn't want to buy back, but they're probably taking Rosh right now, but we can't do much about it. But we have the late game, and that's we know. So if we can kind of hold this area, and like another thing that I see a lot of teams do, like, or a lot of players do, particularly in my bracket, but also lows as well, is that they get bored. Like, I've been stuck in this base for like the last probably like 4 or 5 minutes now, like doing nothing, just sort of sitting back, like warding, make sure they don't have any, or D1, make sure they don't have any wards. Just be patient. Like, I'm a Bane, so I don't have any wave clear, but also I'm pushing 5 as well, so I don't need items. Like, I let the split push be done by your cores, while you just sort of sit in base. Because A, you're there ready if there's a fight happening, and 2, or B, you're not going to die like outside of base without buyback. So just play it safe, stay in the base, let your other cores push the waves that need to be pushed in. Because I realise that these waves need to be pushed in, but I can't do that. And obviously the other team, and look, we're in the right position, a grip on the Sand King, well out of position. It gets stopped because Kotl gets ultimate off, but again, like, I'm never going to get a good grip on this game. Like, unless I have like more items that give me like better cast range, I'm never going to get a good grip on it. But in the end, because they end up popping the Kotl ulti just for me, it ends up allowing Void to make a grand landing with chrono. And sometimes as a position 4 or 5, you just gotta be the sacrificial lamb. Like, all your like spells, like, you're never gonna get a good anything. You're never gonna get good farm. You're never gonna get good items. You're never gonna get a good like matchup. Like, everything's gonna get, and just hope that your carries you. In this game, it's working out well. Like, that's what you gotta do, and you just gotta be the little bitch. You know, there's something bad about being a bitch. You just gotta live with it. You know, just accept your fate. Just go with it. After that, look, we have the first gold lead in forever because of waiting on the enemy team to make a mistake, because we have the late game, and that's all that needs to happen. So now we're 3k up. I'm going to go and join my team as fast as possible, and I just want to try and be in any way useful, even though I don't have ultimate. Whether it's through dust, whether it's through vision. I get there a little bit late, but I'm there just in time for some kind of kills and action to happen. In scenarios like this, where, like, as a Bane, just trying to maybe sleep a target that your team are not going on can be useful, because it sort of delays the enemy team putting damage onto your team. I've got grip, ready now. Put a ward down, just trying to be any kind of vision. But the call was for everyone to get out and immediate TP as fast as possible. Luckily, I don't get caught, and no one does actually outside the Night Stalker, but we force a buyback from the Sand King. But as we said before, Night Stalker has a buyback, so we're still in a good position. If they come and like go high crowd ground against us, we have buyback and we have the high ground, which is obviously going to be in their favour, as well as Lycan without ultimate. So we're in a good position. We know as long as we sit in the back here, we'll be fine, and there'll be no kind of problems going out from this. So again, I've got ultimate this time. I'm just trying to get on anyone. Trying to get as much vision as I can, like see it, because if Void sees a good chrono opportunity, I want to give him the vision to sort of allow him to see that and go for it. Again, I want to stay as far back as possible, trying not to be caught out by Cottle's Will-O-the-Wisp. Get a grip off as best I can without dying, because if I go anywhere near this fray, I'm going to die immediately, so I've got to play really far back. Just waiting for an opportunity, waiting for the Night Stalker to go, and if we see an opportunity, we'll go, but instead they end up getting cold feet and backing out, which probably is the right decision, but also we don't have to buy back on the Night Stalker, which helps us a lot. So again, like right now is probably the position where we want to kind of take control of our jungle and sort of get some wards back on the map. Like I've got one ward, all the sentries were bought out, I've only got one left. I end up putting it in the same place I've been putting it all game, which for some reason is not good. And it's something to mention actually. So in this game, you'll see this Cottle is obviously a lot better support than me. Not because he has more net worth. Like the reason why he's got more net worth is because of the fact that he's a Cottle and I'm a Bane. Like if it was the other way around, the net worths would be like similar. But the fact that he's like his warding is like different every single time. Mine has been the same over and over again. Like so, I've put the sentry ward on this high ground like all the time. He's put his wards here, because he like this one's new. I haven't seen this one before. And he's put it all around. Like I've been putting my wards in the same place all the single time. And although like my theory is correct in terms of like I'm doing the right things, I'm buying all the wards, I'm putting the right vision down. Like there's a difference between him and me in the sense like he's getting that extra bit more out of it than me. But it doesn't matter too much because first game of the day and all that lot. So I know they're going to try and protect the Sand King, so I try and get a dust off. I end up seeing the Mirana with that dust. And perhaps if I can catch him with a grip, then we would have got that kill as well. Night Stalker tries and goes for the Night Stalker here because I think he's in vision. Couldn't able to get the feed grip off in time. There's a nice play from Lena there to actually get the 4 staff. Again, I just give him a little bit of invulnerability, a little bit of protectiveness with the invulnerability from Nightmare. But we kill the Sand King. He has no buyback, and we're in a good position to again force the objective. Now we're starting to be the more stronger out of the two teams. Again, playing back, they're probably doing the right thing. They're trying to force a base race because they know they can't fight us 5 versus 4. Right now, I could tip it back, but I realise that I can't do much by myself. So whatever my team decides to do, I will follow them. So if they decide to stay, I'll stay with them. If they decide to back, which they end up doing, I will back with them as well. I get really lucky and nearly dies that arrow, but Dota is a game of inches. As a result, we lost 1 range Rax whilst we took 2 sets of Rax. So huge win again for us, and the gold lead shows that. Instantly run over to the Void, who ends up getting a chrono onto 2, and trying to help out wherever I can. I think we do end up. I just grip whoever I see actually in that moment there. Probably wasn't the greatest use of ultimate, but we're winning the team fight, so it doesn't matter who I use it on as long as I get it off. And he ends up killing the thingy, which is good, and we kill the thingy as well. And right now it's kind of like this game is basically over. Lycan doesn't have any buyback. They use 2 buybacks and then we're like 13k up, but he hasn't any mana. Which could have been an argument perhaps for me to go Arcane Boots, but I didn't have any money, so I just went for Tranquil Boots to start with. He just tries to buy some items to get thingy, but like we want to force either the buyback or just sort of force the Rax regardless. So fast forwarding here a little bit, but we decide to go back for the Roche if it's there, but it's still dead. But we took the cheese instead for some reason. They left the cheese there, and Void ends up getting the cheese. So, ends up going up here. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cold, so excuse for the sniffles. Yeah, and this is basically the last team fight. I don't have anything. Obviously, my grip's kind of down. I try and use my enfeeble, but obviously, whenever the Lycan wants to kill me, he can basically, and he goes on me and I die. But luckily, whilst he's killing me, my team's killing the Sand King, and this game is basically over. I buy back because it's the end of the game. I try and be useful and help out, but Void ends up surviving, I think. Yeah, he does. Whilst we get Megas, and yeah, that's how a game is lost and then won in the space of 40 minutes. So yeah, that's basically the end of the game, guys. I hope you enjoyed the replay. I know it was a little bit wordy, a little bit rambly at times, but I just kind of like to make the content as long as possible because it allows you to get into the mindset of me and in the mindset of some of the other players as well. And if, like, I remember when I was like, you know, fiending on a lot of Dota videos and a lot of instructional, educational videos, I want to get as much information and as much instruction as possible. So I try and make my videos based on that. So if you did like the video, guys, please give me a like, a subscribe. I know I haven't been doing videos that recently, or that much content recently, but I've been busy, been playing a lot of WoW Classic, if I'm being honest. But it's my first video back out of a little bit of a hiatus. When the new patch drops, we'll have a lot more videos planned and posted. So keep an eye out, click that bell, ring my bell. But in the meantime, guys, see you in the next one. Keep keybinding and grinding. Peace out, Mini TV.